The glass shattered so loudly it felt like the entire bar had cracked open. Music stopped mid-beat. Conversations died instantly. And then came the scream. Amola's body hit the wet floor with a dull, painful thud. Her hands scraped against the tiles as she tried to catch herself, but the surface was slick with spilled drinks and dirty water. Before she could even gather her breath, a rough hand yanked her backward. "Get up." Buster's voice roared through the room like a storm. He twisted his grip into her braids and dragged her across the floor. Her body followed helplessly, her shoes leaving streaks through the water she had been using to clean. "You think this is clean?" he shouted, kicking over the bucket beside her. The water spilled again, spreading even wider, undoing everything she had just worked on. "I'm sorry, boss," Amola cried softly, her voice trembling. "I'll do it again. Please. Do it again." Bustar laughed harshly. "You've been doing it again for weeks. You're useless." He pulled harder, forcing her head back. Pain shot through her scalp. Tears filled her eyes, but she tried not to scream. Around them, customers watched in silence. Some looked uncomfortable. Others pretended not to see. No one stepped in. No one ever did. Bustar leaned closer, his breath heavy with alcohol. "Girls like you should be grateful I even gave you a job. You think you can just stand around and be lazy." "I'm not lazy," she whispered, barely audible. "What did you say?" "I said I'll fix it." Before she could finish, he shoved her down again. Her cheek hit the floor. And then, the door slammed open. The sound cut through everything. Heads turned. Footsteps followed, slow, measured, deliberate. A man walked in, dressed in black from head to toe. His presence alone shifted the air in the room. Conversations didn't resume. No one dared move. He didn't look around. He didn't speak. He walked straight forward, his eyes locked onto one thing. Amola on the ground. Bustar noticed him and frowned. "We're closed for." He didn't finish. The man stepped closer. Closer. Then, his fist moved. Fast. Brutal. Bustar didn't even have time to react. The punch landed square across his face with a crack that echoed across the bar. His body flew backward, crashing into a table that splintered beneath him. Gasps filled the room. Someone dropped a glass. No one spoke. Bustar groaned, clutching his face, blood already running from his nose. What? Who?" The man stood over him, calm, unshaken. "She doesn't work for you anymore." His voice was quiet, but it carried authority that silenced everything. Bustar spat blood to the side. "You think you can just walk in here and take?" "She's leaving." Bustar tried to push himself up, anger flashing in his eyes. "Who do you think you are?" The man looked down at him like he was nothing. "She's mine now." The words hung in the air, heavy, unchallenged. Then he turned. His expression changed slightly as he looked at Amola. Not soft, but not cruel either. "Stand up." She hesitated, her body still shaking from everything. He extended his hand. "You're safe." Safe. The word felt unfamiliar, unreal, but something in his voice made her believe it. Slowly, carefully, she reached out and took his hand. He pulled her to her feet without effort, and without another word, he led her out. No one tried to stop them, not even Bustar. The car ride was silent. Amola sat in the back seat, her hands clenched tightly in her lap. She kept glancing at the man in the front, unsure what to say or what to think. He hadn't asked her anything, hadn't explained anything. He had just taken her. And yet, she didn't feel the same fear she had felt with Bustar. That confused her more than anything. After what felt like forever, the car slowed. Massive gates opened ahead of them. They drove into a property so large it didn't look real. Security guards stood at every corner. Cameras tracked every movement. The house, no, the mansion, rose in front of them like something out of a dream. Or a warning. The car stopped. The man stepped out first. She followed, unsure. He turned to her. "You'll work here." Her eyebrows knit together. "Work? As a housemaid?" She blinked. "Why me?" A pause. He studied her face like he was deciding how much to say. "Because no one touches what's under my protection." That was all he said. But somehow it was enough. The first few days felt strange. Too quiet. Too normal. No shouting. No insults. No one dragging her across the floor. She woke early, cleaned the house, prepared meals, and followed instructions carefully. The other staff treated her with respect. Not kindness exactly, but not cruelty either. and everyone feared him. Yunli. That was his name. She learned it from whispers. From a way people spoke about him carefully, like saying too much could bring consequences. He wasn't just a wealthy man. He was powerful, dangerous, and yet, he never raised his voice at her, never insulted her, never made her feel small. Days turned into weeks. Amola slowly began to relax. She started humming while she worked, smiling occasionally, even laughing quietly with the kitchen staff. But there was one thing she couldn't ignore. Yunli watched her. Not always, not constantly, but enough that she noticed. Sometimes she'd look up and find him already looking at her. Not with anger, not with judgment, but with something she couldn't understand. One evening, a servant approached her. "The boss wants to see you." Her heart skipped. She wiped her hands quickly and walked to his office. She knocked softly. "Come in." She stepped inside. Yunli stood by the window, his back to her. "Yes, sir," she said, keeping her voice steady. He turned slowly, walked closer, stopped just a few steps away. For a moment, he just looked at her. Then he said it. "Marry me." The words hit her like a shock. Her eyes widened. "What?" "Marry me." No hesitation, no emotion, just certainty. Her heart started racing. I can't." "Why?" "Because," she swallowed. "You're my boss." His expression didn't change, but something in his eyes shifted. He didn't argue. He simply nodded once. "You can go." She left quickly, her mind spinning. But he didn't stop. Days later, he asked again. Same calm voice. Same direct words. Same answer. "No." Weeks later again. "No." Each time, her voice felt heavier. Because deep down, something inside her was changing. She respected him, trusted him, maybe even felt something more. But fear held her back. Fear of losing herself again. Fear of waking up one day and realizing she had traded one cage for another. And Yunli didn't understand why rejection bothered him so much. He had everything. Power, money, control. But her no felt different. It stayed with him. One night, Amola sat alone in her room. Her small bag lay open on the bed. Her hands trembled as she folded her clothes. "I can't do this," she whispered. Her chest felt tight. "He's kind, but what if it changes? What if I become owned again?" Tears slipped down her face. "I can't risk it." She stood, picked up her bag, and quietly left. No note, no goodbye, just gone. Morning came. Yunli noticed immediately. Something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. He walked past the hallway. Her room door was slightly open. He stepped inside. Empty. His jaw tightened. Where is she? No one knew. His voice dropped. Find her. And just like that, the entire city became a search ground. Day 1. Nothing. Day 2. Still nothing. For the first time in years, Yunli couldn't focus, couldn't sleep, couldn't think clearly. Something inside him felt off, incomplete. Meanwhile, Amola sat in a dark alley. Her clothes were dirty, her face tired, her stomach empty. The cold bit into her skin. But she stayed, because this pain was chosen, and somehow that made it easier to bear. She hugged her knees, tears falling silently. Why do I miss him? On the 3rd day, "Boss, we found her." Yunli didn't hesitate. Cars moved instantly. He arrived within minutes. And there she was, small, fragile, sitting on the ground like the world had forgotten her. He stepped out slowly, walked toward her. She looked up. Their eyes met. Everything else disappeared. "Why did you leave?" he asked quietly. She looked down. "Because I was scared. Of me. Of losing myself." Silence stretched between them. Then, he did something no one had ever seen him do. He knelt, right there in front of her. "I don't want to own you." His voice softened. "I just want you." Her breath caught. "I searched for you for 3 days." Tears filled her eyes. "You searched for me?" "I would have kept searching." No pride, no ego, just truth. Her heart broke and healed at the same time. She took a shaky breath. Then slowly, "Yes." He blinked. "Yes. Yes. I'll marry you." For the first time, Yunli smiled. Their wedding wasn't grand. It wasn't loud, but it was real. No fear, no force, just choice. And years later, their home was filled with laughter, children running through the halls, light replacing darkness. And sometimes late at night, Amola would look at him and remember that day. The day he said she's mine now. And how he spent the rest of his life proving she was never owned, only loved.